Hey, Bill, how you doing? Good. I didn't see you come in. That's when I came.
I just wanted to check with you.
Everybody shoots for 10 years, but nobody needs to be done.
That's where the vision is.
That's where the changes in whatever. I'll talk about it.
All right, sounds good.
I was watching last night. I heard you mention my name, and my wife was quite thrilled
Oh, really?
when you said you were talking about the thing you were putting together, the town hall.
Oh, good.
It was coming up on
usually
the
goes
20th.
the other way. Where I get, Thank you, Tom.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Thank you for being here. Welcome to the August 11th, 2026 Board of Supervisors workshop meeting. A lot to cover tonight, a lot of good stuff going on. But first of all, let us rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, item number 3 on the agenda is approval of the June 16th, 2026 business meeting minutes. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2026 business meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second? I second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed have the same right. The minutes have been approved. Item number 4 on the agenda, public comments on non-agenda items. Any public comments?
Hi, I just have some quick comments. I was watching the Planning Commission hearing on August 5th. And I just wanted to comment that I think our township has a really unhealthy outlook, or whatever you want to say, on putting sidewalks everywhere in this township. They had quite a lengthy conversation, probably about an hour long. Someone was subdividing property that actually borders mine, 86 acres, and they want to build a house back there, 1 acre. And they had the longest conversation about having this guy put sidewalks, I don't know, back in that area or something. It's an unhealthy obsession, because a couple years ago, I was here getting a rain barrel, and we had a discussion about pervious and non-pervious ground, and it made sense, okay? And the sidewalks are impervious. So I would think we would want more pervious ground. But why are we putting sidewalks, like there was the suggestion once to put them up on the mountain in areas that literally don't make sense? And then it was like, oh, okay, well, we should put them along Devonshire Road. And it's like, I don't know how many of you drive that corridor where the speed bumps are. I don't have an issue with those speed bumps. What I have an issue on in that corridor is when delivery trucks are there, someone's getting lawn care treatment, and the trucks literally just stop in the lane of traffic. You can't see around them. You're just stopped there in that single lane of traffic, and you literally risk your life going around that truck, or sit there for, I don't know, however long it takes them to apply their lawn care or whatever it is they're doing. So I realize it's probably in our ordinance or whatever that if you do new construction, you have to put a sidewalk, but it has to make sense. It really has to make sense. And I'm very familiar with that area because my property borders that 86 acres. It doesn't even make sense. Why are you having an hour-long conversation? And not you, because it was the planning commission. But I can't understand the hour-long conversation about putting sidewalks where they don't even begin to make sense. Even if you put them out on Devonshire where you go into this property, it doesn't make sense. So I just wanted to make that comment. And then at the end of that meeting, Supervisor Thompson caught up and asked them about data centers and about decommissioning them. And I think it is time that this township does put something, I don't know who's in charge of that. Is that the planning commission? Is that the?
We're in the process of putting an ordinance together on data centers.
And Mr. Epstein was very adamant in saying, you can't put something in for one and not having the other. But there was a gentleman here at 2 meetings, build more for less, subscribe, whatever, that guy. And he was up here because Mr. Epstein was like, you can't do one thing for one organization and not for everyone else. Well, then you need to treat the residents the same way, because what his issue was, I see that issue township-wide. And I think, okay, then why aren't you treating the residents in the same manner that you would treat a data center or, any other company, organization, whatever they're talking about? But I just hope that whoever, I would like to attend those meetings, if they're open meetings or whatever, when they do that, that needs to be a very, very, because those people, I don't trust our county commissioners. They literally, had a golf course, sold it. People that had golf course property now have data center property, Coming from housing, their housing prices, I know for a fact, probably went in half or whatever. What a horrible thing for them. It reminds me of the Hodges Heights people, So that's all I really wanted to say, though. I think we need to be strict on our data center ordinance, put it in only in industrial zone or whatever, and that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Other public comments? Okay, Mr. Miller.
Go last.
Well, you are. I guess you're last.
William Miller, 4311 Crestview. I want to bring up, I had some discussion with people about these trees. On Colonial Road, if you drive up there from Sheets, you have Avon, Long, and then a little road called Atraxia Place. It's a private drive. There's a massive branch, a big V, hanging in that line. And believe it or not, I've tried to call. Nobody listens. It is so heavy that all the poles heading from Sheets south and then heading north from Crestview are bowed towards that branch. It's a lot of weight. I've never seen all the poles bow. Someone needs to contact who, again, we're back to the right of way. Those poles seem to be Verizon. They cut someone cut those trees the last time we had problems there. But somebody has to take ownership, and we kind of really do need as to whom we should make these calls to. But I would hope that would be taken down sooner than later. The same thing occurred again at Lock Willow and Colonial Club, where I guess the township had to go out there and push a lot of that crap off the side. It got blocked in one of the last 2 windstorms, and there's still stuff there. It's an obstruction. And again, Verizon lines all down through there have a tremendous amount of weight on them. This is a general question. If you have a medical property and it is no longer a medical property, what does it become? Does it go? It's in an R1 neighborhood, so does it go back to R1? somebody should know. I don't know how you would handle that. Because there's a lot of things, there's 7, 8 cars there at night. They're working on cars, doing little repairs, some detailing. I don't feel it's appropriate for the location. It was a medical office. It's not what appears to be where everyone's renting out a room, but there's a lot of
Where
vehicles
was
there.
this? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Where was this address? What's the address?
I'll give it to you, but I don't want to
Okay.
out somebody like that. But I mean, it's just, I also worry about what I said before. If you have multiple people living in a single unit and we pay our sewer bills based on one rate, and you have 7, 8 people or 6 people in a building, that's 6 to 7, 8 times as much water. If it is deemed to be a boarding house or however that code is, would we think about changing our billing on the sewer rate there based on water usage? Mowing's still a thing, and that's really about it. But I'd like to see something done with that branch. To me, I've never seen them bow the poles in both ways. So something's going to happen there at some point. And I mean, the township did pick up that one branch. I drove there today, Miss Lindsay. I drove up through there, and that was gone apparently. So that was good. I drove a couple spots.
Yeah, it's down, but at 4 o'clock it was still laying along the road, and it's almost out in the road, so.
I saw that one. Yeah,
That's the one that came down.
Okay, yeah, that's the same thing in Colonial that's been there near Goose Valley for well over a year. No one's picking them up. And again, that would be the PennDOT thing versus the homeowner thing versus whoever we decide is deemed.
Yeah, this is on a township road. I'll make
That
a
is a
call
township
tomorrow.
road, yeah. Okay, I was looking for something overhead. I'm
It fell
sorry.
down,
Oh, geez.
yeah.
That's a very, very long branch tree. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Miller. All right, seeing no more public comments, we'll have board chairman and board members' comments. I do have a comment to make, and then I'll open it up for the rest of the supervisors, and then I'm going to come back and make some additional comments, from the podium there. Last week, a resident spoke about the use of cell phones on this dais, and my opinion, my view on that is when we're here on the dais, our attention as supervisors need to be on the business of the public, right? So that's my personal view. And I've, had a conversation with Supervisor Thompson about this, and I'm sure she'll share her comments as well in terms what happened then, but that's just my view. And, if any other supervisors want to comment on that, that's fine. But as far as John Campbell is concerned, that's my view. That's my approach. We're here to do the business of the people while we're here, and our 100% of our attention needs to be on that. Now, in the case of an emergency, you got to take a call. But my view is if I have to do that, then I'll probably leave the room and take care of what I need to take care of. But emergencies do happen, and people at times need to pick up their cell phones wherever they are, understood. But generally speaking, that's my approach, that our attention needs to be on the business of the people. At this point, I'll open it up for other supervisor comments.
I'm just going to comment on that, Chairman. And I would ask too, and maybe we should also say this in the beginning, that the public, if, just for courtesy, if everybody could turn their cell phone off too, that would be nice. So then there's no disturbances at all, in this room during the meeting. So thank you. I just want to thank the police, the fire, the ambulance, all the vendors, everybody that showed up last Tuesday night for National Night Out. Mike thinks, you said about 2,500. There was a lot of people there. It was a great evening. A little hot, but it was a great evening. And thank you to all of you who came out last week. It was just great. Sunday, there were 4 of the board members that got invited to Gabriel Vecchio's Eagle Scout honor, Court of Honor. So we did attend that and give him a proclamation from the township. So congratulations, Gabriel.
Congratulations, Gabriel. Other supervisors comment?
Yes.
Supervisor Thompson?
Our National Night Out proved to be a very successful and well-attended event. The police, EMS, and fire department was very well represented. Mission Barbecue provided tasty sandwiches for the attendees. Dingman Towing added to the complement of vehicles to view. Representative Fleming stopped by and visited with constituents. So overall, it was a good night for all who attended. One of the things that I picked up, not at our national night out, but at another one that I visited, is booklets from the Pennsylvania Yellow Dot program, which is designed to assist citizens in the golden hour of emergency care following a traffic accident when they may not be able to communicate their needs themselves. You place a yellow dot in your vehicle rear window. It alerts the first responders to check your glove compartment for this particular booklet that you have filled out in pencil, they say, with important medical information. So I have about 10, if anybody wants to pick them up at the end of the meeting. Here, I'll put them up there. And with regards to the phone call, the phone call that I took that particular night, I informed Chairman Campbell after that evening that I had 2 relatives who were approaching hospice care, and it was definitely emergency. So that's why the phone was ringing. So I needed to deal with that to get the information so that I knew what was going on and decisions had to be made. All right. Did I have one more comment? No, that's it then.
Okay, any other supervisor comments? Supervisor Lindsay?
And if I may, Supervisor Thompson, the police department also had those. I did see some people picking them up, and you can go downstairs and pick them also up, through the police department. In fact, I'm sporting one in my car and my husband's car, so.
All right, any other supervisor comments? All right. There is one more supervisor comments, and that's from me. So I'm going to make my comments from that podium there. And it has to do with our priorities, right? I'll talk a little bit more about it and go over the priorities when I get to the podium.
Unconnected. Did you hit? One second, I just have to log. Okay, so you are this. Okay, and then I'll do this slideshow. And then you can just advance the slides right here. You just page down.
Cool. Can everybody hear me? Good. All right, so there's been a request from the citizens. There have been conversations on the board about the priorities for the Board of Supervisors. So at the beginning of this year, we engaged with each other, and each supervisor was asked to submit their idea of the priorities. These are the things that we want to focus on. So these priorities is not just John Campbell's priorities, it's a consensus of the board. And this is a working document. So Supervisor Little just joined the board. He's going to have the opportunity to take a look at the priorities and submit his ideas as well. As far as these priorities are concerned, we know and understand that we must work in concert with management of the township, Mr. Gossard and his team. So as Mr. Gossard goes through his presentation on the state of the township, you will see a lot of our priorities embedded within his document there as well. As I said, it's an evolving document over time. After I'm done, I'll turn the podium over to Mr. Gossard. Mr. Gossard will then do the state of the township, and then we'll open up both for public comments. All right. So as we got sworn into office and we thought about, all right, what are the things we should focus on? One of the first things that came up was strengthening the township management team. We have some great folks working for the township, Mr. Gossard and his leadership team, but it's important for us to get stronger. That was key for us, for all of us, out of the gate. So what we did was we worked with Mr. Gossard to hire an HR manager we stabilized the township manager position by presenting a contract to Mr. Gossard. We hired an engineer, an in-house engineer. We hired a deputy director of public works, police officers. So we believe those steps have strengthened our leadership within the township. The board cannot have these priorities and do it ourselves. So we must have a strong team. And the goal of that priority is to make our team even stronger. Number two, hire a solicitor. So a lot of what we see, the public sees, is our solicitor there answering questions, but there's so much more that goes on in the background. So many legal issues that he has to chime in on. So when I look to my left from the dais, I needed to feel totally confident in our solicitor, not only at the meeting, but in doing a lot of the legal work that has to be done. So I feel confident in the work of Saltzman Hughes and you, Mr. Stennett, and your team. Number three, human resources. We all as a board felt that we needed to refresh, review, update our policies and procedures in human resources. We needed to make sure that we are current on all HR matters. So we did have performance reviews for our leadership team, right? And the goal is to confirm that we have a strong team and make them better. Give folks in our township the opportunity to do well and to continue to perform at a high level for the township. We talked about our finance area, and the priority for the finance area is really to review our financial management structure and operations, right? That is in process. To make sure that when it comes to developing an effective and timely internal and external reporting structure, that we have that. Selecting the appropriate software, and of course, improving the budgeting process. All right. The next item is to update our ordinance. You've heard it from the dais. You've heard it here, in the public. We've heard it from our solicitor. There is work that needs to be done to update our ordinances, and you've seen some of that already. Amanda Zerby has presented some of the ordinance, and we're in the process of finalizing those, and I think we did approve some. We also have to improve the updated ordinance for the township manager. I think everybody's in agreement with that. Data centers, a lot of folks mentioned data centers. We have to get the right ordinance in place. We need to get ahead of the game, right, when it comes to data centers, right? Making sure that our ordinance is in place. That's a very, very important effort for us in Lower Paxton Township. Zoning ordinance, some of those have been done already, and other ordinances. So in the beginning of the year, we talked about, and from the dais, I believe, and I think Supervisor Scheib is a part of, integral in making this happen, along with all of us, but it's to the Board of Supervisors Administrative Procedures. Really, this is how the board is going to operate. When we got to the board and we started to do business, there is no blueprint, right? Yes, we have the second-class township code, but how do we conduct ourselves here? So we did a couple of things at the beginning of the year. We implemented the liaison role. Thank you, Supervisor Thompson, and everyone for all your ideas in getting that done. It has improved the relationship between the board and the different departments, within Lower Paxton Township. We implemented the public comment resolution. We updated that, right? That was important in terms of decorum and how we conduct ourselves here in the meeting. At the last meeting, I think somebody mentioned in the public about the process for appointing a supervisor in case of a vacancy. Yeah, we'll take a look at that as well, right? It's up to each board in terms of the process, but we'll take a look at how we can make the process better and be a little bit more consistent. Transparency is always going to be the cornerstone, of that. And of course, board of supervisors conduct, and of course, supervisor staff public interaction protocol. Compost plan, this is a complex issue. It's been going on for a long time. Residents have gone through a lot, and we appreciate that and we know that. We want to develop a long-term plan for the compost facility. There's some ideas that have been thrown around. We're going to be looking at those ideas and making sure that it works for the public and it works for all the stakeholders. In the meantime, as Mr. Gossard has explained over time, we're implementing solutions now to alleviate some of the concerns that the citizens have. Again, I would ask for patience. It's a complex issue. We can't just move the compost site. There's certain contractual relationships that we have to adhere to. But believe me when I say it is a priority for this board. It is an absolute priority for this board. It's going on for too long. Economic development. Folks from the audience have talked about economic development. We've talked about economic development. We can't do economic development in a vacuum, right? So we have to take a look at the entire structure that is economic development, which means developing a strategy, right? A Lower Paxton Township strategy, so we know why we're doing it. We know the outcomes that we want, and we know all the stakeholders that are going to be, right? Then, of course, perhaps we'll formulate a team within Lower Paxton Township to deal with economic development. And do we need an economic development officer? Folks from the audience have mentioned that, and certainly that's something that we will consider as we go forward. But again, at the end of the day, we're not going to do it just because it's a nice thing to do. We have to make sure we know why we're doing it and the outcome. All right, so to complete our priorities, and again, this is a working document. It can change over time. And certainly, if the public, if you have anything that you want to add to our priorities, please let us know. Customer management system. I know that this is a system that looks to get feedback from citizens, if there are complaints, if there are positive things that need to be said. I know Public Works is working on the GIS system. We want to expand that to include other areas of the township, as well. Create a Lower Paxton Township communications team. I went to a conference, and a lot of townships, they have what they call public information officers. Look, we communicate in a good way now. This is on the table to make us better communicating. We're 55,000 plus township, citizen township, right? So we communicate effectively now. This is, again, an opportunity for us to get better. Strategic plan, what are our strengths, right? Now, we've heard about comprehensive plan. That's different from a strategic plan. A strategic plan talks about what are our strengths, what are we good at, right? What are our weaknesses, what are our opportunities, and what are our threats, okay? That's the SWOT analysis. And then finally, the supervisor's development plan. At the end of the day, in the very beginning of my term, we all talked about getting better. Mr. Gossard said, look, his job is to make us smarter as supervisors, right? And that's what we're going to do. So we should have put some of these things that are accomplished, but it's an ongoing effort. I went to a conference last week, learned a lot from PSATS, right? And of course, PSATS is the PA State Association of Township Supervisors. Great organization. Learned a whole lot. We have a dial-in, we have a red phone that goes right to their lawyer if we have questions, and a lot of us have called them. So we're getting better, we're learning, and it's an ongoing process for us. So again, these are the priorities that we have. It's a working document. A lot of what Mr. Gossard is going to talk about, a lot of these priorities are embedded within what he's talking about. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Gossard, and what we'll do again, like I said, after he gets done, we'll open up the floor for public comments, not only regarding the priorities, but also Mr. Gossard's State of the Township.
Okay, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me here this evening. The state of the township is not indicative of what's happening on the screen right now, so.
Testing it, we had that, and we got rid of it, so we were glad. Let me close it. Get better after that.
Okay, I think, never. Okay, so hopefully I think we are good. Maybe it was because this was sitting on there, I don't know. So, over the past several weeks, we've been putting this together, and just to let everybody know, we start off at a really high level. This is a very high level presentation, but a lot of dynamics and metrics went into creating this presentation, and a lot of long, hard, deep discussions between Rick Grove, myself, and other staff members to build this out. We made sure the chairman's worked perfectly, so.
It was actually his that was glitching. Just want to do it regular, do it from current slide, current share. I'm not sure,
Why don't we just leave it at the computer view there? Can,
but then you can't get his notes. Just click through. Well, he had some notes we wanted him to have access to, so.
Yeah.
So I think.
So, start off, in our comprehensive plan, Lower Paxton Township has a vision statement. Lower Paxton Township will be an open, vibrant, and progressive municipality working within the bounds of available resources, providing the best quality of life for a growing community, and to be a recognized leader in central Pennsylvania. And our mission is to achieve our vision. Lower Paxton Township will work to meet and exceed the needs of the growing township in a cost-effective manner. One of the things is just start off with the Department of Engineering. We just hired an in-house engineer just this year. This has proven to already provide a significant value to the township and its residents. We have somebody that we are able to communicate and put on the ground with a PE next to their name. And I think that carries a lot of weight when we're dealing with residents with some significant stormwater issues or other sewer issues that we might be having in the township. Well, just for an instance, if you, any of you lived or went by Tyler Drive recently, we had a contractor for PPL that was boring and hit our storm system or storm sewer system going underneath Tyler Drive. And with a lot of investigative and engineering work by our in-house engineer, we were able to determine who the culprit was. And was able to hold their feet to the fire and get the situation fixed immediately because a storm had washed out part of the road because of the stormwater system had separated because of the hit. So these types of things you might not recognize right off the bat, but staff is able to achieve a completion of a goal very quickly and not have to spend a lot of extra dollars on consulting engineers to write letters and argue back and forth between contractors. So we are going to be developing an inspection program. Right now, we hire a third-party inspector to come out and inspect our developments that are happening when roads are being installed or stormwater systems or sewer lines, making sure that the proper compaction and stone and everything is placed back in the street. This was not necessarily done very well in the past. I'm not saying it wasn't done, but it just wasn't done very well. And what happens is you see roads that may be 30 years old in the township holding up better than roads in the township that were 10 years old. So, and the reason is because the contractor was cutting corners and things of that sort, not replacing the stone in which the manner it was supposed to, not putting enough aggregate on top of the road, or subsurface work in stormwater, not putting the ground or securing the pipe in the ground well enough. So this is having an impact right off the bat. These are the things we're going to be developing in the future, and we're excited to have Melissa on board. Get into finances right now. Just want to let everybody know we are in a strong financial situation. We're not destitute or anything like that. We're not having any worries down the road. We do have, the property taxes and the earned income taxes continue to increase as population grows and houses are being sold. And we have a fund balance that is significant, and we use that for strategic purposes as well. Like I said, but it's not without emerging issues that we see coming down the road, and these aren't issues that are going to be hitting us immediately, or not all of them are going to be hitting us immediately, but there are some things that we have to have on our radar and be focused on and being able to have solutions for when those issues begin to arise. Most importantly, back in 2020, we received $5.2 million in ARPA grant, which is American Rescue Act plan money that through COVID, Congress passed, and you had to take this money and you had to spend this money. So over the past 5 years, we have used this to supplement our capital improvement plan in the township. That money is now depleted. When we get done with this year, there's no more ARPA money. And the issue that rises with this is that for the past 5 years, we were able to use ARPA money as capital improvement money and not necessarily use our general fund money to fund capital improvement. Kind of, if you think about it, and Rick and I were kind of having a little bit of argument today about it, but I look at it as more like it helped us with the inflation. When you looked at the 22-23% inflation over the past 5 years, we didn't have to spend money out of the general fund or general fund tax dollars on the capital improvement because we were using the ARPA money to do so. That helped us with being able to grow other areas of the township or other issues or other standards in the township to make sure that we were meeting the needs of the residents. But now we're back to using capital improvement money from the general fund, and this is going to create a little bit more of a headache for the township in the future. When we say insufficient services of service levels, public safety and street paving and rebuilding, right now, as it relates to streets, we get about $1.8 million a year in what they call liquid fuels dollars. Those can be spent on roads every year. We also can use portions of that money, up to 20% of it, towards equipment, which is what we do. If you think about that, that leaves you might look at $1.3 million as a lot of money to put on roads, but when you look at lane miles and what you're putting in the street, that's not a lot. We have about 30 miles of insufficient failing roads. And if we can do 1 million or 1 mile a year for $1 million, you can see the problem that we're having getting those roads taken care of. So we have solutions and ideas for that. We will be working up to the supervisors with those ideas. Fund balance policy change. Right now, our policy change in the township, or our policy in the township for fund balance is 25% of the revenues coming in is to be. We're supposed to match that with fund balance. We are right now about 35%. 25% is what the policy has. We want to for us to maintain our credit rating, Moody's is pushing us a little bit harder and wanting us to maintain a higher fund balance at about 35%. As you can see, we're there, but at the same time, we're struggling meeting our obligations to our capital improvement and building and replacing equipment or infrastructure as we have in the township and that we need in the township. And the last emerging issue is what we call OPEB, and that's post-employment retirement benefits. It is all 100% police. This was placed in a contract many, many years ago when health care was about $10,000 a year for a resident, for an employee and a spouse. That number is nowhere near $10,000 anymore, but the benefit still remains in the contract. And this isn't anything against the police department. It isn't anything against past administrations and past managers that negotiated this in. This is a typical benefit throughout every police contract in the state of Pennsylvania. It is in there. And most municipalities are having the same issue as we are with this, and that in about 8 to 10 years, this is going to be about a $1.4 million annual impact to our budget just for retired police officers and their health care. So these are things that we are laser focused on. We are working with the police department and finding alternative solutions to this to help lessen the burden down the road. Just want to let everybody see the top revenue sources in the budget. 73% of our budget, our revenue, is derived from those 4 categories right there. Intergovernmental revenue, that is the sewer. If you think about how the sewer is working, the sewer authority is not an operating authority. It's more of a funding mechanism to work with the sewer and to construct the sewer, rebuild the sewer, those sewer lines that we have in the township. The township employees are, or the sewer authority folks are the township employees, and so that transfer of their health care benefits, their salaries, all of the expenses that the authority has comes through that intergovernmental revenue source. Earned income taxes is our largest tax revenue coming in from our residents in the township. This is a 0.5% on the earned income of our residents that live in the township. The real estate taxes are 17.2%, and you can see the numbers that generates. And then sanitation, which is the trash and sewer bills that come in that we have to transfer over as well. So those are the 4 major revenue sources. There are building permits, there's grant funding, there's all those types of things that make up a plethora of other revenue sources in the township. This next one, I believe I have to click on this.
You can't because it's not. Oh,
Yeah.
it did, okay, good. Yeah.
So I follow instructions well. So I just wanted to show this a little bit to you, and I don't know whether I can expand it. Yeah, there we go. This is just a typical tax bill in the township. Not typical, it's for $100,000. We made it up. But I just wanted to show there's a lot of context in this bill, and a lot of people don't, a lot of our residents don't understand. And I'm not saying it's just Lower Paxton Township. It's all over the state of Pennsylvania. You get one bill. This one here is for face value $2,900, $3,000. And somebody calls up and says, hey, you know, I pay you $3,000 a year in taxes. No, you don't. You pay the township, if you go and you see the municipal real estate tax at 1.554 mils, a typical resident at $100,000 value of their home, for every $100,000 of value of their home, they pay $155 to the township. It's nowhere near the $3,000. If you look at the school is 18.2, 18.3 mils. A major portion of that bill is $1,829 that goes to the school district. Okay, so just so we are clear, municipal real estate tax on your tax bill is the only revenue source that the township receives in your bill, and that's the bill you receive annually. And like I said, for Lower Paxton, it's $155 for every $100,000 assessed value of your home. I'm afraid to hit the X button, but okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, this is kind of going to go back and talk about ARPA a little bit here. Like I said, we received between 2021 and 2022 $5.2 million. It was in 2 tranches. The grant was required to be invested into capital outlays. You couldn't dump it into your pension plan to make it your pension plan more whole or better percentage or anything like that. You had to spend the dollars. So the township went about a method and began planning on the capital improvements that they would do in the township. Now the money is gone, and now we have to look back into the general fund for tax revenue to fund our capital needs. And the 2026 budget right at this time has about $3.9 million. The 2026 budget has $3.9 million for capital outlays. Most of that is funded by ARPA. There are some grant dollars involved in that, and there's also some general fund dollars involved in that. So this is just how important ARPA was for the past 4 or 5 years, but we no longer have that benefit. The fund balance policy, like we were talking about, if you see on the bottom, you see the Moody's. Whenever Moody's does a rating, they provide you a rating statement, and in that statement, they put in things that might increase your rating or help you in your rating, and things that might decrease your rating and hurt you in your rating. And that rating is indicative as to how well we can, or how low the interest rate is we can borrow money for. So the better risk we are, the lower our interest rate. The higher risk we are, the higher interest rate. And that directly gets passed down to the ratepayers of the township, or the taxpayers of the township. So we are very cognizant of what Moody's would do because we want to make sure that we maintain a very high credit rating, which the township does. And we believe, we can obtain that 35% credit rating, or that 35% fund balance to revenue over the next several years, but it'll take a little while to get there, and it will take the supervisors to change the resolution that is currently in place. Just so you know, we budgeted a deficit, if you recall, in 2026, and the deficit was because the ARPA money was involved and we needed to spend that. But we budgeted a deficit of $513,000. We are looking now that deficit might only be $118,000, and our goal is, and as stewards of the township tax dollars, is to beat that $118,000 and create a budget that was in the black. So you work with what you budget. The budget is always a guideline. We're showing you that we can afford to operate the township in a year. The staff's goal is to beat that budget and to and provide a positive budget performance in the township. So that's our goal every year. People who believe government just goes and taxes and spends and doesn't care where the dollars go, I look at this as my personal piggy bank. And if I don't want to spend those dollars, or I want to make sure that I'm spending it judiciously and on the right things for the township, that is the best we can do for the lowest amount of money we can do for the township. This is just budget performance and forecast over the past 10 years, or for 10 years, 5 that are currently in place and 5 that are either ones in place right now, or happening right now, or what we are expecting in the future as to deficits. And this will then drive other conversations down the road as it relates to tax dollars. I'm supposed to kick this to Rick. Rick, you want to come up and handle this part of it?
Sure. Fund balance is probably our most useful financial tool. It's basically savings. It's money in the bank that has accumulated from surpluses over the decades. At its most basic level, it keeps us from insolvency. But as your fund balance grows into more substantial levels, it opens up a lot of opportunities. These are two options that we could possibly take if we wanted to use excess fund balance. The first one deals with recessions. If you think how finances go in a municipality, things go along, the economy's good, recession hits, revenues fall off rapidly, but expenditures don't. And to some extent, I mean, like with police, fire, all that, we have to provide those services. We just can't cut those. So the expenditures keep on going, but the revenue doesn't. So at that time, sometimes you need to do a tax increase, which is the worst possible time. You want to do those when the economy is good. So what this top idea is that we would take about $4 million of excess fund balance and set it aside for a recession. So it would not be used until a recession occurred, and then if your fund balance dipped below 35%, you would dive into that pool rather than raise taxes. So that's one idea you can or can't do if you want to. The second one goes back to the problem of capital outlays that Mike just talked to you about. The ARPA money's gone. We had a source of money that came in, and it was a substantial source, and we drew it down over the years, and now it's gone, so we don't have that anymore. So another thought here was to take part of that fund balance, move it into a separate fund to set up a revolving loan fund to ourselves. Because what we're doing in a lot of cases now is we're going for capital leases. So we're going to the bank, borrowing money and paying them interest. In this case, instead of going to the bank, we're going to ourselves. And we would borrow money from this fund to cover capital loans. And it's actually the amount needed of almost $4 million is not just a random number. Basically, you want to, in general now, you want to recover what you spend in depreciation, if you know what that is. The consumption of your assets over that year. You want to recover that cost. It's known in accounting terms as depreciation. So that's half of our depreciation that would cover by these loans. So as we need it, we would borrow money from that fund and repay ourselves with interest. If hard times came or an emergency came and you had to, you could just say, hey, we're not paying ourselves, instead we're going to deal with a natural disaster or whatever it is that occurred. So those are just two ideas. Like I said, you need to do them when your fund balance is strong, obviously, and it is. It by nature is going to decrease, as you saw in the previous slide, where we went from a surplus into a deficit situation, and you're going to hit that 35%, and then you're going to have to come up with revenues or cut expenditures, to cover that. But so this would make that day come, either one of those would make that day come a little faster. But still, they are ideas that staff just thought we would share with you. Questions before
We'll just let Mike continue his presentation, and then at the end, if anybody has any questions.
Okay, like we talked about, other post-employment benefits, police health care at retirement. It's like a pension. We've tried to fund it, or we have funded it annually. It costs about $250,000 annually. We should be funding it at about $1.3 million a year. We do have about, what, Rick, $1.5 million developed in that fund. That is actually just the cost of this program for 1 year in the out years. So some of the things we are looking at doing, part of the contract, we are looking at the drop program, which will keep officers on board for a little bit longer, thus delaying that down the road a little bit more. And we are also looking at other ways to change this benefit for newly hired officers. But this will cause a significant cost in the general fund in the out years, probably between the years of 7 to 10 years in the future. We are right now also developing a 5-year financial plan that involves capital needs, staffing needs, borrowing needs, and taxation needs. This will be hopefully completed prior to us providing our budget presentation, and be able to marry this together with our budget presentation to show you how we plan on attacking these needs in the budget. And how I always look at a budget is you always look at the year the year you came out of, the year you're in, and the year you're going into. So it's always like a 3-year rotation in the budget process, just because you want to know what you're going to end up the year with. You want to know how you're going to apply that in the new year, and you're going to want to know how that's going to affect the next year. Go through the different departments. We're going to talk about their current state and what their needs are going to be in the future as well. So right now, with the Bureau of Police, we have a deputy chief of operations, Justin DePasquale. 64 sworn officers, 11 of those and 11 civilian support staff. We have 32 officers and supervisors in the patrol section. We have 10 detectives and 1 supervisor in the criminal investigative section. Special operations, 10 officers and a supervisor. And we also have community engagement, traffic study, school resource officers, and vehicle theft agent, and 4 K-9 teams. And then we have the administrative division, which also handles a lot of the capital needs and right-to-know requests for the township, because the township does have, the police have to handle their own right-to-know requests because of the system that they are, the confidential systems of which they work with. Bureau of Fire right now, we have Deputy Chief of Operations, Deputy Chief Graham. We have, it's a combination all hazard system, and what that means is we do supplement our daily staff right now, our daily staffing, 24/7 staffing with volunteers that are in the department. They are very dedicated, and this township cannot at the moment survive without the volunteers stepping up when we need it. We have, last year we had 8, we brought on 8 firefighters. This year if you were at the last meeting, you saw 12 more sworn in. We have a total complement of 20 firefighters. And we have about 30 volunteers, stipend members. And what the stipend members are is the volunteers can come in, sign up for a shift, and be placed in a station where they are needed that day, and get paid for the hours that they put in for the township to help fight fire. Bureau of Police, this is just the critical incident responses for the year so far. There's, as you can see, we're not immune to serious crime and felonies and things of that sort. We are what we consider a suburban community in the police department, and the crimes, we do have a lot of not necessarily our residents, but sometimes there are people from outside of this community that come in and do that as well as we do have some residents that get in trouble as well. So, oops. For the Bureau of Fire, just most recently we had a double fatal on I-81 northbound. If you recall, that was into that was a Amazon or a van into the back of an Amazon truck that killed 2 occupants in that vehicle. But those are all the other major incidents that happened in township. But this is by no means even close to the amount of calls that these fighters are making on a daily basis. But as you can see, in July, just for weather events alone, 98 calls for service just for the weather event. Future goals and objectives for start up the top right, the Bureau of Police. We want to enhance public safety and reduce crime. We want to decrease motor vehicle accidents through aggressive traffic enforcement and high visibility. We want a reduction of criminal activity via proactive patrols. And we want to continue to educate citizens and businesses on crime trends, financial scams, and see something, say something initiatives. Want to deliver professional and efficient services and develop and retain an exceptional bureau. Bureau of Fire, really, they kind of go hand in hand. We obviously want to improve the training hours that we're giving our firefighters. We want to maintain a frontline apparatus availability, and that means keeping equipment within the IFPA's insurance requirements of apparatus only being held on for so many years before it creates an issue, and some of our property insurance goes up because our fire service apparatus is not being maintained properly. So we've got to maintain that level of service with our fire apparatus. In the next, right now we have 2 engine pumpers that were ordered. We're looking at 2028 right now. This is the delay that we are having by ordering apparatus. The good thing is they paid for these apparatus up front. Each one of them was about $1.4 million though. That's just one piece of apparatus, and we bought 2 at one time. The next one in line right now, they are speccing out a fire rescue unit, and that will likely be in the $2 million range when that comes, and probably won't see it until 2030. So those are logistical issues that are not able to be controlled by the township. Future staffing, Bureau of Police, like I said, total complement right now is 64. As the township continues to steadily increase, with a projection of 80,000, that says by 2030, that's supposed to be changed, just missed it. But you would think that 80,000, we are growing faster than projected right now, but we are probably going to see that 80,000 in 2040, 2045, somewhere in that neighborhood. But if you look at current staffing needs for the officers, Lower Paxton Township falls within that suburban community, like I said, and recommends 2 to 2.5 officers per 1,000 residents. We are currently at 64 officers, and our ratio is below the 2.0 target, and at only 1.16 officers per 1,000 residents. So our officers are busy running a lot of calls. By looking at hiring 4 new officers each year over the next 4 years, 16 total, our ratio will improve to 1.45 officers per 1,000 residents. If you think about what happens in a year with officers, you obviously want to be hiring the officers that you hire. You want them to also have the ability to glean the experience from the senior officers before they eventually retire. And you will see us probably ballooning the police department a little bit, just so that to manage the large number of retirements that we are expecting in the future, and hopefully bring that down to another complement where we can hopefully at some point get to that 2.0 ratio of patrolmen to residents. In the Bureau of Fire, they currently have 21 full-time deputy chief and 20 firefighter, and 2 part-time assistant chiefs. 2027, we want to offer full-time employment to an assistant chief. In 2027, I want to hire also additional 12 firefighters. This affords us the ability to staff 2 engine companies 24/7, 365 for the township. In 2028, promote and hire 4 battalion chiefs, shift supervision and management for 24/7, 365. And like right now, if a firefighter needs to call off sick, the chief has to deal with it. And this is just not an efficient use of the chief's time when you're trying to build out the strategy and how we're going to grow the department and fight fire and all the other things that the chief has to deal with. So, and then 2029 to 2032, hire 4 additional firefighters per year. We're gonna now, if you recognize when we see that 1.55 tax rate for the township, part of that tax rate goes to the fire as well. So we have to make sure that we are looking. And if you think about the fastest growing department in the township is public safety, especially when you're adding potentially 32 firefighters over the next 3 years. That's a huge lift for the township and for the taxes to maintain a lower tax rate. So you'll probably be hearing us talk about increasing the fire tax for this year to help cover the new complement of firefighters that are needed for the township. Okay, working with public works and utilities. These are just some of the metrics there. We have 54 public works employees in utility division, 94 vehicles and major equipment assets, 220 lane miles that we maintain, 150 acres that we maintain of the parks. That's not how many acres of parks we have, that's just how many acres the Public Works Department maintains. We have 43 signalized intersections and sanitary sewer collection of over 300 miles of sewer pipe in the ground. And storm sewer and conveyance system, nearly 200 miles of just storm sewer and its conveyance system. So a lot of activity, a lot of work, a lot of assets in that department, and with the addition of the engineer on staff has helped build out an asset plan for this as well. So just major accomplishments. These are all the accomplishments that the Public Works Department had this year and the Sewer Department had this year. But you know, the things you probably noticed: Colonial Road signal improvements. The township is about done, or the fuels center is about completed, probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, and just the other major things that we did this year. Future goals, obviously, we hear a lot about the compost facility. As I say at the meetings, I can't talk about some of the things that we're doing because they're ideas, they're structural issues that we have to look at and maintain, and I don't want people getting their hopes up that we're moving down this direction or another direction, then we just flip and confuse the residents. So, but we are working on a number of different issues, and you can see up there something about renewable energy and biochar. It is a possibility that we could use our compost facility to generate electricity. So those are things that, and will the compost facility stay there? I don't know. These are things that we are looking at and have other ideas about. But there's a lot we need to do public works wise, and like I said, we have about 30 miles of road that is in what they consider a failed condition. There is a strategy that maybe we look at going out on a bond issue. We've worked up the numbers of what that best number would be, what we could fund, and then we would fund it with our liquid fuels dollars that come in, and also maintain a balance in there to where we can purchase equipment and things of that sort. But it would show the residents a huge bang for their buck right off the bat that over the next 3 or 4 years, roads in front of their houses that have been failing for years are now new or brand new. So it is a, I've done this in the past in other municipalities. It is a great way to look at it. The other thing you have to be concerned about is that money going to those bond issues, all we are doing for the next 10, 15 years, unless we can find other strategic ways to manage the bond, you're going to see just maintenance of all the other roads that are of just medium standard or above. So, but that will get hopefully 25 to 30 miles of road completed in the next 3 years, which, like I said, the residents would notice that, I'm sure. Information technology, obviously, one of the this holds us all together, and where we are at in the township, our system is very well maintained. It is modern. It is tight. It keeps. It is. I mean, I've seen numbers, ridiculous numbers, of how many hostile attempts that are being attempted on our system. And we're blocking those and managing those, but the threats are out there, and they are constant, and we are always on top of it as best we can. This is just a nerdy little slide that shows you what our system looks like, but I'm sure there's some IT folks in here nodding their heads that looks great, but that is what our system looks like. We have one employee working on this. So in the accomplishments in 2026, implemented endpoint detection and response tools. Those cybersecurity tools consistently monitor computers and servers looking for threats. Implemented organization-wide security awareness and phishing training to strengthen employees' ability. We do have phishing attempts that we send out as a township to our employees. If they click on it, they got to go to training. So we do catch them once in a while, and the whole objective is awareness. Doing 2027 projects, public works network infrastructure upgrades. Current firewall will reach end of life next year, and replacement is needed. 2027 server infrastructure replacement for the municipal center and police department, and SharePoint platform will be used across all departments. Community development, this is just kind of what they did this year so far as of August 8th. A little over 500 building permits, a little over 250 plumbing permits, zoning permits in the 450 or the 350 range, and we can show that out. But that is that's a really busy department, and Amanda does an amazing job there. This is what the department's staffing looks like. Looking ahead, the department actively evaluating how we are structured and how we operate. Our goal is to strengthen our ability to serve the community, support development, and improve overall efficiency. At this stage, we are exploring several possibilities, but no final decisions have been made. Throughout the remainder of 2026 and into 27, we will continue to be assessing our needs there. Key initiatives, we were implementing an enforcement program with residents for the Act 537 plan. I was really surprised that when we got here, residents who are on lot systems, there was a DEP regulation many years ago that required a pumping plan to be implemented, and every 3 year or every year or every 3 years you had to have your online system or your on lot system inspected and pumped. That was not something that we were doing, and so we've implemented that program. It's only about 400 to 500 on-lot septic systems in the township, so it's not a huge deal, but it is something we have to begin maintaining. And then we're updating our subdivision land development ordinances, updating our property maintenance ordinance, and strengthen enforcement, improve safety, compliance, and begin discussions on data center ordinance. We talked about the data center ordinance. It is very close. I'm thinking within maybe the next meeting or the first meeting in September that we will bring it before the board to authorize advertisement to approve and then go through the ordinance approval process. This will be on the website, so anybody can go on and take a look at it down the road, but that's a little bit small for me to be reading from here. So, but there's a lot of information in there. I had Amanda draw this slide up because everybody, what's left in the land? What's left in Lower Paxton Township Valley? What's the acreage available? So, what is zoned residential right now as vacant land is 1,289 acres. We got it down to 0.01 there, but that just shows you how much more growth in residential we can go in the township. And so I thought this would be an important slide to show everybody to kind of know how do we get to that 80,000? Where do we see that 80,000 dropping in? And this is where we will see it. And then we have about 140 acres of commercial property still available, still vacant to be developed. Economic statistics of Lower Paxton Township. Currently there are 529,000 square feet of vacant inventory listed by brokers. Vacancy rate is 7%. Occupancy rate is at 93% office and retail. National averages for availability and vacancy are higher from the 7% within the township. The national average for office space is 15-18%. We are sitting combined about 11%, so we're well below the national average. We have 19 properties currently listed for sale, totaling 153,000 square feet, with an acreage, with an average of 8.2 months on the sale. Market sale price at $125 per square foot is very competitive. That's an increase of 2.3% from last quarter. And the sales volume, $32 million across 32 transactions in the past year. Office and retail rents are at a historical high with steady, moderate growth, and that source is the CoStar's Realty Information Incorporated. Economic development focus, there has been a focus on economic development, and we are implementing important steps in 2026. Key is the launch of the economic development webpage. Did we launch that today? That is launched today. Go online, take a look at it. It's pretty neat. It's interactive. Residents can review it and or go to it and see local businesses that they might want to visit. And it'll also, for business owners, it offers an opportunity for them to go and peruse the site and look for properties that meet their zoning requirements and whether there's properties available in the township. So it is going to be an interactive. It will be continuing to be updated on a regular basis as commercial real estate agents continue to provide us that information. The zoning team impact, in my opinion, economic development starts with zoning, and that is, are you available? Are you accepting to businesses? Are you accepting to the new trends that are happening out there for businesses? And are we being innovative in our zoning ordinance? Are we listening to our developers? Are we trying to find the right property or work with the property that they have identified to make it work for what their business is? Zoning ordinance is a living, breathing document, and I've worked with zoning ordinances for well over 30 years now. They can't always predict what is happening, so we need to work with our developers to make sure that we are keeping a modern economy in our township and keeping our zoning ordinance up to date. So we are not, we always say, there's no dumb idea. We'll listen. I mean, and just so that you know, I mean, the supervisors have told me is we are open for business. So. Looking ahead, we plan to establish and work with the supervisor in developing a economic development committee. We think this is a better way to go as opposed to an economic development director. I don't, this isn't a disparagement of past practices or anything like that, but well, as I look at economic development, and if you're going to put $300,000 into economic development, you want your return on investment, and that means that economic development director has to develop and be responsible for developing almost $300 million worth of property improvements in 1 year, just to cover themselves. And they got to do $300 million the next year and $300 million the next year, just to cover their cost. And if you think about, that's a property the size of the mall annually. So I think if we look at an economic development committee made up of our residents, business owners, developers, those types of individuals, very smart and savvy in how they go about looking at things, and that's free. And we have, this township has that talent. We just need to go out and ask those folks to help us out. And I think this could be a segue into developing an economic development authority if we start seeing the committee making that recommendation. Hey, it would be great if we did buy this property. It would be great if we did do this project here and then flip it back over to the private sector, or whatever we're looking at doing. But this could be the development. And you can see like the economic projection or the economic information that I provided earlier about what is available and how the township, we're not hurting right now, but this would be a way in making sure that we don't get to that hurt spot. So, Parks and Rec, very, very busy department. I always say that Rachel is probably the master at multitasking that I've ever seen in my life, but whenever I get done with meetings with her, I am just mentally tired. So just all the things that she does and the commitment and the energy that her and her staff put into this is amazing. But we are looking at the park's productivity, improved recreation amenities throughout or through court renovations at Coons Park, Cole Park, and Continental Acres Park, advancing a major capital projects, including Happy Trails Dog Park and Possibility Place. Engaged community members and business sponsors through events, camps, leagues, volunteerism, and outdoor recreation, expand volunteer opportunities with the launch of the Adopt a Park Trail program, elevate resident communications with a refreshed township website and improved digital media presence, and establish an online business directory. These are the things we are looking to build and move in the future. Possibility Place is something you'll hear a little bit more about tonight, but these are the areas that we are going to be focusing on and hopefully within a year, 2 years, 3 years, getting these projects done. More priorities, we continue to hammer the grant market out there. Wherever grants available, we are trying to find programs, projects, and things like that for us to do. We're not going out and securing grants that don't make any sense to the township, but we are strategically looking at these grant opportunities and seeing how we can enhance our park system in the township. And that is it for right now. So
right.
any questions anybody has, I'll be happy to answer, or the board would be happy to answer. But thank you for your time and your indulgence. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, Mr. Gosh, I want to thank you and your team for putting together a comprehensive view of the township and the state of the township. It took a lot of work. We shared a lot of information with you here today, and certainly we'll open it for public comment in a minute. And even if you have comments at another meeting, please bring them up about the state of the township. It's your township. It's very important that we're transparent and share with you all the initiatives, where we are, right, and where we're going to go and how we're doing and how we're going to all get there together. It's not just about the board. It's about citizens. It's about the staff of the township as well. So again, thank you, Mr. Gossett, and your entire team for putting the information together. I know it was a lot of work, but timely conversation. So at this point, I'd like to open it up to the board of supervisors for any comments, and then we'll open up to the public. Board members? Mr. Little?
Mr. Chairman, at first, Mr. Gossard, I want to thank you for the presentation. Excellent presentation and very informative. With respect to the Recovery Act monies going away, I think that that's a challenge that governments at all levels are facing now. And Lower Paxton is certainly to be applauded for not building those dollars into the ongoing operations in ways that some other governments have. But with that said, certainly as we move forward, I would be looking towards long-term sustainability on the capital side, number one. And two, this is a growing area. It's vibrant. It's a desirable area, and so we have to incorporate that as well. So just sustaining and swapping out those dollars. And I also want to kind of tie my next comment back to the priorities and goals presentation that was made earlier, and that is looking as we move forward to see a real direct relationship between the priorities that are established and that come out of this body back with the work plans and the like, and doing it in a way that specifically that they're metrics and key performance indicators that we can see over time. It's good to get an update like we got tonight. I'm sure there'll be other discussions as we work through the budgeting process that we're going to be engaging in shortly. And then at least I'd like to offer now for consideration a suggestion that having, as it relates both to the website and public information, a public-facing dashboard so that so it would be public-facing would be my suggestion, so that any citizen at any time could see in those areas exactly what's going on here in the township, can provide feedback, but also internally that it can serve as the basis of a clear linkage to our performance review and evaluation processes, so that we're all pushing towards the priorities. It's out there for everyone to see, whether they be inside as an employee, this building, or the various facilities that the township has, board members, but most importantly the citizens, so that everybody has an investment, everybody can see in fairly as close to real time as we can get the data out there, and understand that there's a lot of work to be done going forward, and I suspect there's a little bit of catch up from things that may be hanging out from the past. But overall, again, an excellent presentation, and I'm looking forward both to the further evolution of the priorities, but specifically the budgeting process and building off of this. So thank you all. And I also want to take just a moment to thank all the employees, because this is everybody. It's a total team effort to get here. So it's no one person. So even as I thank you, I thank everybody who helped to contribute.
Thank you, Supervisor Little. Other supervisor comments?
I too wanted to thank Mike and the staff. Took a lot of time, and I think you did a great job, and I think we're on the right track.
I appreciate the outline of priorities. It looks like we're on target to achieve a lot of the goals that we talked about at the beginning of the year. So that is very good. I would just like to move to the state of the township, and I would like to ask Mr. Grove, it's just something it's hanging in the back of my mind. I'm looking at top revenue sources, and I guess it shouldn't be here, but the money that we bank, what do we do with that in terms of adding that to our revenue source? How do we handle that? The money that we earn interest on, that's in the bank, how do we handle that?
Rick, go to the mic.
Reserves. Are you talking about the reserves that we have?
The reserves and any other money that we have in the bank. I'm just wondering, how do we count that money that we're earning interest on?
Yes, it is all, we're very limited in what we can invest in those products. They're all, our money is mostly with liquid assets. Liquid but it does pay a higher interest usually.
All right, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Rick, can I just ask you a question? How much do we have in reserves?
Let me just get that. We have in the general fund over $20 million in reserves. There are reserves in other funds totaling about 26 million altogether, including the general fund.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, other supervisor comments?
Yes. So, under other post-employment benefit, OPEB, there's a statement that says we're not properly funded, currently contributing $250,000 annually, but we should be contributing 1.3 million.
That's correct.
Okay.
That comes from an actuary study. I mean, that's not my number, but we have actuaries tell us, just like we do with all our pension plans, how much needs to go in every year. With our other pension plans, they've been funded well through the decades, so they're all where they should be. OPEB is clearly an exception. It's drastically underfunded, and the time when we have to start drawing large sums out will be coming up well within a decade.
When will we start looking at recommendations to close that gap?
Well, I did issue a memo to the prior board. It was distributed to this board, I believe, in February, that dealt with that. I mean, the bottom line of what it says, though, is that there's no real easy solution. I mean, there's different ways we can fund it. And they're in there, and we can certainly discuss that, at a future time, I think, because there's a number of possible options, none of which are pleasant. But, you do have different ways to skin that cat.
Okay, the cat's gotta be skinned.
All right,
Yeah.
Any other supervisor comments? All right, seeing none, any public comment? Any public comment? And again, if you don't have any today, you can bring it up in the general public comment.
His hand's
I'm
up.
sorry, Mr. Bostic.
Yeah, just, I guess, Bill Bostic, 6204 Elmer Avenue. I want to dovetail on what other people have said. If you watched the podcast last night, Mr. Costello and I both communicated that we thought overall that the township was well run, and that Mr. Gossard's doing a good job and all that. So no overall big complaints. My focus, and a lot of people's focus, has been on the economic development. I just have two questions. With the Economic Development Committee, Is there a timeline or a goal for when you would set that up and get that started?
I think we'll have that during budget discussions and see where the supervisors are at for next. But
Okay.
I think it's sooner than later.
Okay.
But these are, this is something, I haven't had a real, just a general conversation with the supervisors, but, it's going to require Amanda and myself to lay out what the structure looks like.
Okay.
And then present that so that they have a reasonable expectation that it will accomplish the goals that we want it to accomplish.
Okay, so it's a work in progress. That's great. The other would be just if you get any commentary in terms of what involvement the township may have in the ongoing problems with the mall not seemingly moving forward toward being in a good position.
Yeah, we continue to engage developers and seeing what their ideas are. There's obviously, if you think about the mall property, for redevelopment to even begin to occur, a developer's probably going to have $60 million into it before they put one vertical wall up. And so the current zoning of the property does not provide the return on investment a developer is looking for. We have had discussions with developers that want to talk about tax abatement or partial tax abatement in looking at the property and saying, oh, well, we'll do this, but then we want to do this, and that we would like a partial tax abatement on that for a certain number of years so that we can keep our rents competitive, and then as the rent or as the inflation and whatever happens, it grows, and then all of a sudden they now come back on the tax rolls. Those are things. Generally, if you look at the township, tax abatement there makes sense because we don't. Our $150 for every $100,000. We could probably absorb that, and then through local services taxes and some of those employees living in the township, we would organically grow your revenue through that manner. But the school district and the county are the ones that would be foregoing the most.
Right.
And that is the hurdle that the developers are going to have to, if they're going to go down that route, that's the hurdle the developer's going to have to overcome.
Yeah, the last thing would be, based on what you just said, given the zoning, you said it just doesn't work for the developers. Is there any movement to taking a look at that part of the zoning ordinance and revising it?
Well, I think one of the things that as I was saying, we're not necessarily, as a staff, the idea people as it comes to what the next new thing is.
Right.
We obviously rely on our developers for that. We are the professionals in the market that are doing that, and they're the ones that's going to be investing the millions of dollars, not the township.
Right.
So you got to sit down, you got to listen to them, and if an idea strikes us and we like it, the supervisors can look at that and say, okay, we're going to look at changing the ordinance there, and we're going to allow this, and this because we think that's what the township needs. And I think with a economic development commission, they always can chime in and say, yeah, that's what the industry is going to right now, and this will be a modern development. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your comment. Other public comments?
Anthony Cristillo, Mike, great presentation tonight. That was great. Now, will that slide be up on the website? Okay. Just one quick question. With the recent Supreme Court rulings, and I'm not sure where it stands with all the stormwater fees, how will that affect this township?
Well, I think, you mind if I kick out to Lee? Because Lee is.
I just wondered with the budget.
Intricately involved in this
Yeah.
right now at a state level, not necessarily at a township level, but what he does will impact us.
Well, last week, a court in Williamsport ruled that Williamsport's fees were still valid because they were charged by an authority. So that's the unanswered question from the Westchester case. That was not answered by Westchester. There is also legislation pending that's in the House where that goes. it's not a good year for legislation to move for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
But I also anticipate there will be other cases filed that will try and get that question answered more positively for fees, because otherwise, if that goes away, we have another tax issue we need to start talking
Sure.
about from the township side, because regardless of the funding mechanism, our permit requires that we have a funding mechanism. So we have to have enough money to fully fund that program, and it's very expensive.
Okay. Yeah, I just wondered. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Cristillo.
John Packer, 5723 Kenwood Avenue. Just to go back onto the pension fund, I know when I attended the budget meetings last year, that was also an issue, obviously at that time. And I know you're saying that it's basically $1 million short as far as what it's funded per year, but where do we stand in totality? What are we really short? How many years have we not been fully funding it? So, I'm just looking at maybe where we're at with that. And then to piggyback on that, with the firefighters now, is there that same type of pension for them? Is there something that we would have to be planning for them for the future?
That will be, Mr. Braga, that'll likely be something we would not incorporate in it. Right now, they're not unionized.
Right, I get that.
So they get what the township gets as benefits. So we're not offering that as a benefit to our township employee, not either our union or non-union employees. The only union contract that possesses that language is the police contract.
And then the only other thing with that is the staffing that you have for that. That you're way understaffed as far as you're looking at 22 years ago is what the staffing levels that you're working with, and you indicated on there that over a certain amount of time, starting at some point, would add 4 officers. Does that account for the number of officers that are going to be retiring? Or so are you just basically treading water there, or are you actually going to be gaining ground and getting you closer to what your full complement would hope to be?
I will, right now, it will probably get us closer to the complement, but just what happened this past year where the chief and I were wrestling back and forth. We had we had budgeted for 4 officers, and then he showed me in the budget we could hire a 5th officer, and that got us a 5th officer, which we went ahead and did. We had an officer die, and we had an officer retire. So instead of being a +1, we're now a -1, and we have so that kind of stuff can continue to happen as we implement certain programs for retirements for our police officers. And there's nobody here saying the police officers don't deserve it. It's the contract, and we got to honor the contract. There's nothing we can do about it. What we can do is start managing new contracts moving forward with other ideas that we are proposing and work. And the union, quite honestly, the police union has been very, very fair in working with us this time around. I've been through police union negotiations that were not pleasant. This actually, the officers do care, and they want to make sure that the long-term health of the department is their goal as well. So.
Good. Can you answer that, Rick, as far as where we're at with that fund though in totality?
Yeah, we would have to.
Can you go to the mic?
We would have to make a one-time contribution of over $8.5 million, then an annual contribution of close to $900,000 to keep it funded from there on.
But that's subject to market conditions, correct? The funding levels?
No, that would be, no, that would not be. I mean, if the plan makes more than the actuarial assumption, you would have to put less in. If it makes less than the actuarial assumption, you'd have to put more in.
Yes.
Just like any other pension plan.
Yep. Yep, correct. All right, thank you. Any other public comment?
I'm sorry, Grant people. This goes to Supervisor Campbell's presentation. I just have a real quick, this was confusing to me. 2 of the things on your to-do list maybe. They didn't have like completed by them or anything. But this one concerned me. Supervisor, staff, public interaction protocol? What does that mean?
Well, it's just a conversation about, you know, spending time within the public, going to public events. You know, it's just really a community engagement effort.
Okay.
How do we, yeah, that's all that is. I think it's important. You know, many of us, all of us do really engage with the public in different venues, not just here at the boardroom, but at events, you know.
I think I understand. Seeing that up there, I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, you need a protocol to talk to me, or like, but I see what you're saying.
Okay.
That. And then the other one was Board of Supervisor Code of Conduct. You have nothing in place, I assume, correct?
Nothing official.
Okay.
That's in place.
That's right, but you're working to put something in place?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. That's good to hear. Thank you.
Thank you. Other public comment?
Thank you. Tom Verneau, 28 Judy Lane. I just had one question about economic development, revisiting that. And I don't know if you can answer this or want to, but during the budget presentations last year, there was money in the budget for an economic development director and also a assistant manager, if I believe. Could have been a same position. And neither one of those people were hired, I don't think. So was that money not used, or was it moved somewhere else to a different line item? Unused.
Yeah, if you see our deficit was 513,000, whatever it was, and now our deficit is 118,000, that's part of that, not spending that.
Savings and not spending it. All right, thank you.
Any other public comment?
William Miller, 4311 Crestview. On the library tax, why are we charging municipal library tax? I know the other two I researched, that the other two municipalities in Dauphin County would be Middletown and Elizabethtown. Where does that money go?
Well, the library tax was something that was voted on by the residents and implemented by, and it can only be taken out by a referendum on the ballot. And to my understanding, it's failed a couple times when they brought it back up.
Well, the other two municipalities, they operate a little differently.
That money goes to the library system. We are our residents are double funding the library system.
So now everybody knows.
Right.
Yeah. And the other thing you mentioned, I think the economic development is critical. You know, we get more businesses and get these spaces out. I think the revenue that's generated by that is a little more significant than I'm told by experts from the residential. The big thing is, again, as we develop, and these numbers were they're huge towards the end. Where will that money come from? As you build, all those costs are projected. I don't know if they include, you have the official map, it's stated, now we know our densities. We know how many people right now, based on zoning, can live in each particular location. And the schools, that's another discussion, but there you have 4 elementaries or pre-Ks. Could that not be in one? What influence does the board have on that? Because all that has to be paid. You got 4 boilers, 4 chillers, 4 this, 4 that, more buses, more spread out. And how are we going to rein that in? And because we know what we can do, and I think that money should be going to purchase that land. If you know your final build out, we need consolidating properties and coming up with a plan to be a little bit more economically conscious of what it's going to cost in the end. But you have to relate that to all our neighboring municipalities, because their construction processes right now, to me, they're building and building and building. And for every single constituent in this township, the school taxes here, well, they're building over there. That all affects us. Percentage-wise, each individual is going to pay another proportional amount of money for every home, every child, every bus, everything that happens. So again, we're back to that point. What are we doing to really try to get a handle on talking with those people? You can build, we can build, but we're building quicker, I believe, even here, than we're going to have all of our schools basically are maxed out. From what's been said and what I've read. So where do we want to go? We have to think about that. Do we want them? I've worked in schools with double wides here and there, and the costs, and it's a mess, and there's discipline issues, and there's emergency issues. I just don't know if we should not be talking to all of our neighboring municipalities and try to get a handle on all the construction. But of course, they want to do what they want to do. But I think being the largest municipality, and I think perhaps, I don't want to segue too much, but I think next census will be at what, 70,000, 65,000 or more. I think that we're leading the deal here, and we should be trying to work with them collaboratively to rein all this in where everybody can build. Developers develop, and again, they're going to do that. But you know, we have the say, you have the say as to the rate by which they do that. And it's going to affect every single taxpayer. I just don't want to see people getting taxed out of their homes towards the end, because we're talking a lot of money down the road.
Yeah.
And costs just aren't going to get any cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller.
Mike, excuse me, since Mr. Miller brought up about the library tax, 2 questions. Approximately how much money does that bring in a year with that extra tax? And that money that it brings in, does it go to the East Shore Library, or does it go to the whole entire Dauphin County Library system that, you know, our residents are paying double?
My analysis was it brings in about it's not significant, $145,000 a year, something like that. How it goes to the library system of Dauphin County, I don't know how they divvy it up from there.
Okay, so I guess what I'm asking is, does the East Shore Library in Lower Paxton, you know, if we could find out, does it get all that money? Because if it's not, then we're funding, our residents are funding all the other libraries in all the other townships, and we're paying twice. Thank you.
Okay. All right, seeing no more public comment, we're going to jump into some presentations. What's the time? We give each?
I'm hoping like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, you know, for each of the presentations. This is presentation on the 2026-2027 Dauphin County Local Share Municipal Grant Program. So first up, we have Lower Paxton Township Parks and Rec Possibility Place Reimagined.
Good evening. Do you have access to the board, or?
You should have it.
I do?
Well,
Okay,
that's fine.
there we go.
Look, it's working for you.
Abracadabra. All right, so good evening. The Parks and Recreation Department is reimagining Possibility Place, our ADA accessible inclusive playground at George Park, which was built in 2006 and served nearly for 20 years. Today, the aging infrastructure and evolving accessibility standards have created the need to redesign the focus remains on inclusion, safety, accessibility, and caregiver support. Possibility Place Reimagine will create a 360-degree place of inclusive play village featuring fully accessible play experiences, poured-in-place safety surfacing, secure gates, and improved sightlines, shade and seating, accessible connections to nearby amenities, and sensory-friendly spaces. The township is going to request $201,000 for professional design and engineering services as the next step in advancing the project toward construction. This investment will move the project from conceptual planning into a detailed design, establish more reliable construction costs, and prepare the project to move efficiently towards construction as additional funding is secured. This request is part of a broader funding strategy to maximize available state and outside funding while continuing to advance the project. As the design is finalized and the grant commitments are confirmed, the township will be able to clearly identify the remaining funds needed and develop a more focused approach to community, charitable, and private support. Tonight, I'm requesting the board to sponsor our application in the amount of $201,000.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, hearing no questions. Thank you for your presentation. Next up, we have the Panther Ram Foundation NutriPacks.
Hello, my name is Sandra Brooks. I'm the director of the NutriPACS program. For over 15 years, NutriPACS has operated within the Central Dauphin School District, directly supporting food insecure students. Our mission is to ensure that food insecure students in the Central Dauphin School District have the nutritional resources to thrive socially, emotionally, and academically. Central Dauphin School District is the largest school in Dauphin County. NutriPACS provides service to students in 22 schools in the district, including the CDSD Cyber School, Infinity Charter School, and CDSD students attending Dauphin County Technical School. The district comprises 3 boroughs, Dauphin, Paxton, and Pembroke, and 4 townships, Lower Paxton, Middle Paxton, Swatara, and West Hanover, with the majority of the schools and the administration located in Lower Paxton Township. NutriPACS is requesting a municipal co-applicant by Lower Paxton Township Board of Supervisors to the Gaming Authority for funds of $75,000. 100% of these funds will be used for the direct purchase of food, milk, and eggs from the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. This is consistent with our 2025 request. Our enrollment for the 2025-26 school year remained high at over 1,700 students. Our average weekly pickup last year was 733 students, which was an increase of an average of 80 students every week. Last year, our slide went away. If you saw that slide, you see that last year we distributed 22,729 bags of food and half gallons of milk. We are hand delivering those out to every student that receives that food. Due to economic issues and rising costs, we anticipate that this number will continue to increase. The NutriPACS program provides each student approximately 10 pounds of shelf-stable, nutritious food and a half gallon of milk each week. Each food pack is planned to provide food for 2 breakfasts, 2 lunches, 2 dinners, and snacks for the weekend when students are not receiving their meals at school. During the 2025-26 school year, we made logistical improvements to ensure that students picking up at all 9 of our distribution sites also received regularly fresh whole grain bread and fresh produce. At our main distribution location, we are able to provide additional perishable food items, including fresh eggs and frozen chicken. For the Thanksgiving holiday, we annually provide a special drive-through holiday meal distribution. For the 2-week school winter break, we provide larger food packs to help students during that longer break. This year, we just learned that Pete and Jerry's Organic Eggs, who has been donating eggs to us for the last few years, we will no longer receive the eggs directly to our program. Therefore, we will have an extra expense going forward to purchase eggs from the Central Pennsylvania Food Bank. The NutriPACS program supplements the free lunches and breakfasts that are available at school during the week. We produce a monthly newsletter that educates families about healthy food, meal preparation, cost savings, nutritional information, and SNAP information. Our target population are low-income households with a focus on children in the 5 to 17 age range, so K through 12, who suffer where there is not adequate food to eat. Childhood hunger does exist in our community, and for some children who rely on school meals as a main source of nutrition, weekends and holidays can mean going hungry. The recent Dauphin County Hunger Mapping report highlights that more than 32,000 residents of Dauphin County face food insecurity. 2 in 5 are children. 1 in 3 lives within the city of Harrisburg limits. Children are 100% more likely than adults to experience food insecurity in Dauphin County, and strengthening the charitable food system is a key pathway to reduce food insecurity in Dauphin County. Malnutrition can have long-lasting effects on a young child's body, their ability to learn, and school performance. Past funding sources include corporations, national retail chains, locally owned companies, foundations, charities, healthcare insurance companies, churches, and individuals. Most are one-time donations, and none are guaranteed ongoing commitments. 94% of our funds raised go directly toward the purchase of food, with the balance toward packaging, maintenance, and administrative costs. NutriPACS has a working advisory board. We meet year-round so that the program is fully operational during the school year. Due to the growth of the Central Dauphin School District, the NutriPax program will be required to relocate our main distribution center at the end of the 2026-27 school year. We have worked closely with CDSD administration to identify and approve a new site location on the middle school campus that supports our needs. The Panther Ram Foundation is helping to support fundraising and necessary renovation efforts for the new site location. The NutriPax program supports the Dauphin County Comprehensive Plan by providing nutritious food to food insecure households to improve the health and well-being of our residents. The use of existing public school facilities and schedules helps ease the food accessibility without adding pressure on existing county infrastructure. The program facilitates cooperative interaction between the county, municipalities, and school district to help families improve their children's educational outcomes. We appreciate your time and consideration in support of this vital community program.
It is vital. It's a great program. Thank you for your presentation. Any questions from the supervisors?
I do.
Okay, Supervisor Thompson?
So, I understand how the organic egg donation came about. Do you all go out and actively try to recruit other organizations that may want to, or that could contribute to NutriPack?
I'm always seeking new. We're always seeking new donations. It's also has to fall in the realm of our ability to pick up, have volunteers to go get that food and to store the food, so that all those considerations take into factor. With Pete and Jerry's, the nice thing with that is that even though they're not donating directly to us, they have partnered with an organization called Shared Access. And so I've already met with them. So they actually started out of Philadelphia, and they rescue food. And so Pete and Jerry's will still donate eggs to us, but it's through that program. So we don't know now how often or how much eggs we'll receive, but now we actually have a new contact where we might be able to get fresh produce through Sharing Access. So most of what they actually receive is produce.
Okay.
Yeah. So
One more question.
Yeah.
What relationship with the Pennsylvania Food Bank look like?
we have a great relationship with them. So most of our food is purchased through them. So they deliver our food every Friday, and I've actually been actively for the last 2 years participating on their Food Access Coalition. So I go to any sort of conferences that they have, and great networking for other organizations.
All right,
Organizations. Thank you.
Okay, one more question.
I'm just curious, do you request or receive direct funding from any of the other municipalities that you mentioned that comprise the CD School District?
We don't receive direct funding from the municipalities. We receive the sponsorship
Okay.
to get the county grant
That was
money.
probably
Correct.
a better clarification.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
And then this isn't for you, but I just want to ask the chair, I don't think I missed it, but did we have a public explanation of what it is that we're attempting to consider tonight, how many funds are available, and how the distribution takes place? Because we're listening to folks requesting money with no clarification of why we're listening to them.
Okay, Mr. Gosser, can you just explain that? So my understanding is that we're here to support the effort of these charities to get dollars from the gaming.
Correct.
Grant.
Yes, so we are receiving, correct.
We endorse and we say, yes, we.
Okay, I'm sorry, this is just for my clarification.
Okay, go ahead.
Pardon your indulgence for just a moment. Is there a set ceiling in which we divide, or we just either support or not support, and then we rate them? Put that forward.
The objective is you're hearing the presentations this evening, you have ranking sheets in front of you, you will rank them, then we will develop, based on your ranking, we will develop a resolution that you will approve next meeting, that we will provide these entities, and they will put into their application, and they will send that to the Gaming Grant Board for their presentation down the road. So
Yeah, it's
Thank you, sir.
required, wait for them to come to us and then for us to rate them, and because they have to have that part of their application, when they submit everything and when they also go for their interview.
I get it. I was just clarifying that there wasn't a pie that we needed to slice up. We just have to decide if you're worthy of a slice of it, that's all.
All right, thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll have the Penn Colonial Swim Club.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Patrice Amatrono, and I represent Penn Colonial Swim Club. The Penn Colonial Swim Club is a nonprofit organization responsible for fostering recreation, leisure, aquatic services, and promoting the well-being and affirmative quality of life for youth and adults alike. The objective of the Penn Colonial Swim Club is to provide an environment where the community can enjoy the outdoors and the amenities offered by attending the pool during the summer season. Penn Colonial Swim Club provides a safe environment within our township for those of all ages. What we are looking for in our sponsorship is a facilities safety enhancement. We have, over time, our facility is 66 years old this year. Due to water runoff, heavy seasonal rains, soil erosion, sometimes some burr and critters, our decking, which is the original decking of the pool, has shifted, and we are looking for some concrete leveling to eliminate trip hazards and any existing slides for further movement. Also, due to digital mapping, the roadway coming down Elmwood Drive through the HPAL parking lot, then there's a walkway up to our pool. It has been deemed a vehicular roadway, and we have cars coming down all the time, running right through there. So we would like to put up a gate at the front end and a gate at the back end, because you can access off of Berkeley Street as well. We are not looking for any funding from the township, just a sponsorship. We think that the improvement to our facility aligns with your comprehensive plan to improve community facilities. Our facility improvements assist in the economic health of the township, as well as they bring tangible benefits to the community. We're looking for $30,000. I have gone back to my subcontractors and asked them to sharpen their pencils as well, but that would be the maximum. We appreciate your support. We appreciate previous grants that you have sponsored us with, and does anyone have any questions?
Any questions?
When was the last time you were here?
2021?
21?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Other questions?
How many memberships do you serve?
Well, we have family and, singular and dual adult memberships. We probably have about 250, but we also open up our facility to local daycares. They come in during the day. We have a swim team that calls our pool home. We do some Boy Scout. We do some sports teams interactions as well. So, but as far as memberships, actual memberships, probably about between 250 and 275.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
One other question, sorry. Do the children who are signed up for day camp through the Friendship Center, are they serviced by you all?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They come 2 times a week during the summer from June until August.
All right, thank you.
So I have a quick question. Financially, how are you guys doing? So
We're good.
all right, so balanced budget,
Balanced
revenue,
budget.
expenses.
No. Yeah, we're good. We the crux of our income is memberships, and then of course we're supplemented by the daycares and some rentals, that kind of thing. But we are a true nonprofit, money in, money out.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none. Now, thank you for your presentation. Next up, Catholic Charities, St. Samuel Center Improvement Project.
Good evening. I'm Kelly Golick, and I'm with Catholic Charities, and the Diocese of Harrisburg is actually located here in Lower Paxton Township, as well as one of our flagship programs, which is our St. Samuel's Center. So our St. Samuel Center houses 3 homeless shelters here in the township. And over the course of the last 15 years or so, We've appreciated the support of Lower Paxton Township with many different renovation projects. In this building, which was an old nursing home built in 1938. So we work really, really hard to maintain this building complex that we call the St. Samuel Center. This year, we are requesting a support letter from Lower Paxton Township to renovate the kitchen in one of the programs, which is called the Evergreen House. The Evergreen House is a 3.1 level halfway house licensed by the state to provide recovery services for women who have gotten past that detox part of their recovery and need assistance for about 3 to 6 months in learning how to live soberly. So they come, they reside with us here in Lower Paxton Township at the St. Samuel Center. One of their treatment goals, so this is a part of their treatment plan, is to learn how to cook and do the cooking for the house. They rotate through. They might do it for a week, then be off, and then do it for another week during their stay. And it is a part of their treatment plan because many of the ladies that come to our program, they don't know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to take care of their families. They don't know how to cook. They've been living out on the streets. And part of learning how to be in recovery is learning to take care of yourself and take care of your family. So their kitchen is the smallest kitchen of the 3 programs that we have at the St. Samuel Center, and it is the only one that we haven't in recent years been able to renovate. So we are seeking gaming funds to be able to renovate this small kitchen that gets used extremely hard by women who don't know how to cook or clean and are learning those skills maybe sometimes for the first time. The kitchen is not very big. It can have maybe 2 or 3 people in it at any given time. So part of the renovation is there's a dumb waiter that takes up, so this is built in 1938, right? This building has dumb waiters, has a dumb waiter that we would like to remove. So as a result, the renovation cost isn't just replacing cabinets and replacing the ovens and the stoves. It's actually going to have to remove this dumbwaiter, hopefully creating some additional space for storage and for our women to be in the kitchen together, collaborating and cooking with each other. So the total cost, the first budget we received, or the first quote we received, was about $140,000, which I am not satisfied with that. That is way too high. So we are working on a second bid right now. We are hoping it's going to come between $75,000 and $100,000 to renovate this kitchen. So we're asking the gaming for $50,000. We're going to write some grants to bring in the other $50,000, as well as some private donors, which have assisted us in the past in the renovations that we have done in the other parts of the St. Samuel Center. So we're looking for your support. The other thing I would like to invite you, many of you are new to your roles here as supervisors, to come and see the St. Samuel Center, to see the work that's being done here in our township to heal, to help mothers and their babies, to help families, to help women who are at their lowest, leave these programs with love, support, and compassion, and be able to serve our communities with everything that they have learned. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your presentation. Any questions?
I have a question. The kitchen that you're hoping to renovate, is it used solely by the women who are going through their recovery process, or do you joint use it for other ventures?
Nope, it's solely used by them. I mean, we do some coaching and training in there with them, but it is solely used by them for them.
Okay, then I just want to make a comment, I guess, to other members of the board and to you, and I want to thank you for your work. I've had the private opportunity through other things in my life to come across some of the women that have gone through your program. And it makes me teary to think of the support, not only that they need and deserve, but that folks like you and possibly us or the county are able to offer. And I will leave it at that. Your services are more than valuable. So thank you very much for your work.
Thank you. We are doing God's work, right? That's what we want to do. Yeah, we want to serve those who need helping our neighbors, for sure.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Seeing no other questions? You have a question? I'm sorry.
Yes. So when I was going through the packet over the last couple of days, I noticed that it was listed, but I didn't have a proposal from you all until it was handed out tonight. So could you speak to that issue?
Well, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well,
You mean we didn't submit our one pager ahead of time? Is that what your question is?
Well, the other proposals were submitted ahead of time, and that's what you all did previously. So I was just wondering what happened this year.
There really wasn't anything that was different or a problem. We just thought this year we would hand them out as we provided the presentation.
I see. All right. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Thank you so much for your
I
presentation.
have one more question.
Sure.
I'm sorry, I just have to ask this, as inappropriate as it may be. When you serve these women, do you have any religious requirements that you place on them?
We have no requirements other than they must participate daily in AA and or NA meetings, which are faith-based. AA meetings and NA meetings are faith-based, and the number one tenet, of course, is that you have a higher power. We highly encourage our ladies to participate in faith-based activities. We collaborate with, I can't think of the name of the local church. We collaborate with a local church, and they will come and pick the ladies up and take them to faith-based services. We have worked locally with the Catholic churches to come and for those ladies that are Catholic to ensure that they get to church when they request that. And we do a Bible study weekly as a part of the seminars that we offer. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And up next, we have the technology for me, bridging the digital divide.
Good evening, Merritt Green, 2291 Forest Lane. I'm not going to go through all the slides. We could probably just leave this one up and I'll quickly go through why I'm here and what I'm asking for. First of all, let me say thank you to the Lower Paxton Board of Supervisors for previously supporting technology for me and our grant efforts. The last 3 years have been very successful, and I'm going to quickly go through how we have had some of the success and introduce one of the young men that have been a part of the program also, Mr. Lawrence McCoy. So Technology for Me is a veteran-owned nonprofit organization dedicated to bridging the digital divide by expanding access to technology, digital literacy, and technology-based learning opportunities. My organization works with students, veterans, seniors, and underserved members of the community who lack reliable access to computers, internet connectivity, or the skills needed to fully participate in today's digital world. Through laptop donations, mentoring in my time, digital literacy training, workforce development, and technology education, Technology for Me helps individuals gain the tools and confidence they need to succeed in school, pursue employment opportunities, access essential online services, and become more connected to their communities. The organization also partners with schools, nonprofits, and community organizations throughout central Pennsylvania and Dauphin County to identify technology needs and develop practical community-based solutions. Technology for Me believes that access to the technology should not be determined by a person's income, age, and circumstances. By placing technology directly into the hands of those who need it most and providing education necessary to use it effectively, Technology for Me is helping create greater opportunity, independence, and digital equity throughout the community. To expand this work, Technology for Me is requesting a $30,500 grant through the local share municipal gaming grant. This funding will support the organization's efforts to increase access to laptops and other essential technology resources. And just a quick recap on where we are and what we've done in the past couple of years. When we first started this nonprofit, when I moved here after retirement from the military, it was always an idea that I had, but I finally got to execute it once I moved here to Lower Paxton Township. And in 2024, we started with just, gifting computers to high school kids and middle school kids. And in 2025, we did that again with high school kids, but our focus was on seniors and juniors that were specifically pursuing technical degrees or technical work after they left high school. And this past year, we expanded even more to the Robert M. Jackson Veterans Center in Harrisburg, where we worked to reinstall and install computers for about 20 veterans that live in that house down there. We also started to partner with Dauphin County Technical School, where I actually have an intern that's working for me through the PA Career Link program that I gifted a laptop to. So he didn't have a laptop once he left school for the summer. I gifted him one, and now he's actually an intern working for me through the PA Career Link program. So we look to continue this program moving forward, and with the help of Lower Paxton Township's support to our gaming grant. And I won't speak anymore, and I'll let Mr. Lawrence McCoy come up real quick and give his testimonial about how technology for me helped him.
Hello, I'm Lawrence McCoy. I wanted to give a brief introduction of who I am. I'm a website designer based out of Camp Hill and Harrisburg, and I also run my own IT company on the side. And that was only due to technology for me providing me both a computer and a camera back while I was in high school, which enabled me to also take on a PA Career Link internship for MG4 Tech that taught me the tricks of the trade, taught me how to build websites, taught me how to properly market companies, and a plethora of other things. So I want to see more kids like me who are hungry to build, not just build websites, but chase a technical career, whether it be cybersecurity, IT, or website design. I want to see them. I want to see them succeed.
And that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Any questions?
So you said that you work directly with the school districts then?
Yes.
Okay, so I was thinking, don't some of the school districts provide laptops for the children or Chromebooks?
They do most of the time during the school year, but then what we found is when the school year ends, they take them back away because they're property of the school. So 9 times out of 10, the students don't get to keep the devices, and maybe if they do, they're like end of life. So they've been used a couple times for a couple of years, and the device that they get is, maybe sometimes 3 or 4 years old, out of warranty. We're constantly going through software upgrades like Windows 10 to Windows 11. So we provide them with a new device that they're able to keep for themselves. That's not, restricted to the school's priorities and school lockdown, so that they can use it to, do whatever they want to do with it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I probably missed it, but how many kids do you help, you support per year?
So it depends on the gaming grant. So last year, I have my notes with me, it was probably like about 30-something students.
Okay, I see it here.
Yeah, so in previous
Okay.
years, it really all depends on the gaming grants and the amount of the devices, because we try to buy, the most economically responsible devices, but, when you're talking about memory and RAM and all these other things, it can get a little expensive depending on the device you buy.
Got it, thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you for your
Mr.
time.
Green. And last but not least, Lincolnstown Baseball Association, fencing and field upgrades. We saved the best for last.
Oh, thank you. When I teach I seminars with a group of other lawyers, I always try and be the last, knowing everybody wants to get out of the door. Kind of like, don't ask me too many questions, but I'm more than welcome to questions. I'm Bob Chernikoff. I live out in Toftry Drive in the township. I'm the board secretary of the Lincolnstown Baseball Association. Lincolnstown Baseball Association started in the mid-1950s as a nonprofit corporation working out of Coons Park in the township. We've maintained our facilities a great deal ourselves, but with township help also and through the gaming grants. We've now have children starting at 5 years old, going up to 19 years old in our programs. We also, on our field, have an adult Twilight League program, which could be any age. We're the largest Baseball Association, Recreational Baseball Association in Dauphin County and the East Shore. We have approximately 400 kids that we serve. We have 6 fields. As I said, we maintain them ourselves. The township does help with some mowing, and they've helped in the past. But we've spent a lot of money ourselves and a lot of sweat equity. We've had gaming grants going back to, I have to think now, pre-COVID, I believe, was the first one. We've had approximately $100,000 in total gaming grants over the last several years. We basically have maintained and improved the township's park. Last year, within the last year, we spent $26,000 on the field that we're here to talk about today, which is the field where the major, or what used to be known as the midget program exists. They're mostly 10, 11, and 12-year-olds. We're part of Little League of America, International Little League. We play Little League games there, and our kids are there all the time. As I said, we spent $26,000 in the last year on the field. We put in a whole new playing surface in the infield, field conditioner. We added sod. We added clay bases for the batter's box in the home plate area. Doesn't sound like much, but that's costly. We also converted the field so that we could have not just a small Little League size field, but what we call an intermediate field, excuse me, which is a 50-70 field. Essentially, the pitching's 50, bases are 70. Little League is 60 on the bases. That expands our ability to have more age groups on that field. We put a new sound system in that we bought, and we put in a new scoreboard. The field, if you go out to Coons Park, you see it. It's the field by the clubhouse. We maintained that clubhouse. We put a new roof in the last year, excuse me. And if you see the field, it's one of the better fields around. But we need new fencing. The fencing is old. And the windstorm that came in July that knocked down the big tree in right center field, the township cut the rest of it down, took the stump out. That actually gives us an opportunity to expand the field a little bit. Our field's a 180-foot fence. The standard now is 200 feet. We'd like to expand that out. We're going to work with Parks and Rec, of course. We work with Parks and Rec all the time. Rachel's been great to work with, and she really helps us. But we need, believe it or not, $50,000 to put a new fence up, expand it, and a new backstop. And we're looking for that from the gaming grant. The county's been very good about giving us money in the past. We're hoping to do it again. As I said, in the last several years, we've received $100,000, included new dugouts at the large field where the Teeners and Legion team plays, included fencing for some of the other fields. This is the last field that needs fences. And without it, it's going to be difficult. We're very good at raising money ourselves. Witness the fact we spent $29,000 on one field while maintaining our other fields, provide uniforms to all the kids. We put the names on the uniforms for the younger kids. They love it. They go to school with them. That's good advertising for us. And the fact that we've been able to keep 400 kids going in this day and age when parents are paying a lot for kids to go travel baseball is, to me, pretty remarkable. I've been doing this, I've been on the board 17 years now. I've been coaching. I had to do some math, figure out how old my kids are. I've been coaching about 29 years now. I still coach, believe it or not. I'm an old guy, but I still coach. I actually used to play with Robin's husband a long time ago. So in that respect, we're looking for approval, and as a co-applicant with the township once again.
All right. Awesome, awesome. Thank you for your presentation. Any questions?
Yeah, I just had a question. I wish Rachel would be here. Maybe you know, Mike. So the upgrades of everything at Coons, this has nothing, we did not include the fence for their baseball. Okay.
No. I mean, the upgrades with the court, with the basketball courts look great. A lot of kids out there too. We have to be careful we don't hit into them. That'd take a monster shot, but.
Okay, other questions?
What are the costs associated for a child to play Little League baseball in your league?
If you're talking about up to age 12,
Okay.
we charge, I have to think about this. I think we just increased the registration. We charge, I believe it's $90 for a child, plus another $60 for which they get 6 community cards, which they can sell to grandparents, friends, whatever, at $10 each, and recoup to $60. I think we're going up to $100. We're still one of the lowest cost on the East Shore. We check our neighboring areas all the time to see if we're competitive, only because it's remarkable. Parents will pay a fortune for travel baseball, but they don't like to pay it for us. And frankly, we don't want to charge them more than we have to.
Sorry to belabor the issue, but fees, in addition to that, do the children, are they required to purchase their own equipment? Is there additional fees for uniforms? I understand gloves, but my understanding now for young person's baseballs is they're spending $200-300 on aluminum bats, that leagues don't provide those anymore, that everybody needs to bring their own stuff. And my concern here just has to do with whether the whole community can take access and access Little League now, or is it only children of families that can actually afford
No.
to pay for these?
Okay, believe it or not, when my son, who's now 34, played, I was paying $400 for a bat for him. It's pretty outrageous. We buy at bats. We have team bats. A lot of the kids want to use their own bat for whatever reason. If mom and dad can afford it, that's great. That bat often turns out to be used by multiple kids on the team. We provide, also, most of the kids have their own helmet now. I guess they don't want to share helmets. And as I said, a lot of them are playing travel ball besides, once they reach a certain age. But we provide team helmets. We provide full uniforms. The young kids, the 5 and 6 year olds, we don't provide pants for them, but just a shirt. Catcher's equipment is provided to each team if it's needed. We provide the balls. The balls are incredibly expensive these days. My team, which is the Legion team, we're paying $75 a dozen of balls, and we go through multiple dozens a year. We try and provide as much as we can. Parents are going to buy their own things, but every child that wants to play can play. We'll find them equipment. We have kids that parents can't afford gloves. We'll get them a glove. We have kids whose parents come to us quietly, just can't afford the registration. We let them play. No child's turned away.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you, and hopefully I wasn't too long.
All right, no, very informative. Thank you.
Everyone have a good night. Thank you.
All right, you too. Thanks for your patience in waiting.
Bye-bye.
So we have one more piece of business to conduct, item number 7.2, consideration and possible approval of the proposal for boardroom equipment refresh project. Very important. I had a call from one of the residents, several residents, and they were listening on the television, and they're saying, I can't hear folks. If you move even slightly away from the microphone, we can't hear you. So I believe there's incredible need for us to do this. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Gosser.
Thanks, John. We went out for 3 quotes. All of these quotes came in via CoStars. The successful applicant or successful proposal is in front of you this evening. It is the cheapest that was out there, but it also was the one that aligned best with what our solution is for this room. And I would ask that the board approve this evening so we can continue to move forward with this project.
Great questions.
I just have a couple questions, Mike. So, are we going to be getting rid of that screen? No.
There's a lot in this proposal.
Well, this is what
There'll be another screen on a TV on this side, I believe, and there's going to be a lot of different things in it.
Okay, but there won't be a TV hanging there and a TV that they can see it there and we can see it here. That's not going to happen. Okay. Okay. And does it include new mics?
New lights.
Mics.
Yes.
Mic. Okay.
What's that?
Are they voice activated?
Not that I'm aware of.
And this will include mobile microphones as well? That's what, okay, cool. Other questions? Mr. Little?
Just a couple. One, this new system, what is the expected life of it? Like, so we get this new equipment, how long will we anticipate living with that?
I don't know that answer offhand, but I would expect to at least get 10 years out of it.
So you're looking, okay. And I understand technology is changing.
Yeah.
And this may be recency bias on my part. Fortunately, I had looked at the presentation earlier, have it printed out here, and I know I've got eyes that aren't doing as well as they used to. I frankly could not see with that screen. And frankly, projectors have their limitations, but so what's proposed here is for a projector would be the best that's available.
That is correct.
And so direct view would be a whole lot more expensive. Okay, no further questions.
So Mike, if we would have went with televisions like they have at Hampton Township, they have at West Hanover, would that, okay. Yeah, you're right, Swatara too, you're right. I mean, Hampton Township and West Hanover's are awesome. But anyhow, what would have been the cost for something like that? Or would this room not have?
I don't know, but I can look into it. I mean,
Okay.
to see what that is.
I'm just saying it's 93,000 and this is horrible. You know, it's just out, and people at home, you know, they're watching and they can't make it out either. So I'm just trying to figure out what the technology is going to bring with this, you know, at $100,000.
It'd be better than we have now. That's all I can say.
And this is all a part of the budget,
Yes.
right, that we
Yes.
planned for, yeah. All right, any other questions, comments?
I'm going to make a comment, and I just have to say, frankly, I'd like to see a presentation on the proposal. I realize we have it in our pack, but I think that based on the fact we might, and future boards may live with this for 10 years, I'm not prepared, personally, me, to take action on this tonight. I would like to see and have more discussion on a presentation. Is that possible, or is this something that you really want tonight?
No, I mean, we can table it and then we can put it on the agenda next meeting and have Ricky come in and give a presentation, so.
I would feel better, because I'd like to understand what we're getting and what we're not.
Well, what about the people that, you know, bid on it and they got it? Are they local? Can they come in and, you know, do a presentation or?
Well, we've already selected, right?
I think we've already selected this. This was the cheapest, but it also aligned with all the goals that we have. So it's not, we're not sacrificing anything. It's just that it was the least expensive, but it's also the same company that did our room. the executive session.
So Ricky was a part of the conversations,
He
the
was 100% a part of it,
deliberations,
yes.
and this is his recommendation that we
That is
approve
correct.
this?
Mhm.
And Ricky is our tech guy, just, you know, for everyone.
I've met Ricky, and just for what it's worth, I was part of a project at one of the state installations where this particular vendor did the work. It was excellent work. It was a smaller room, so you could go with direct view screens. I mean, it was just, this is a large room and it's going to be challenging. So I would agree. I personally would just like to have a presentation, and so I would support a motion to table until our next meeting.
But there's no way he can show us how bright it's going to be?
Probably not.
Probably not, okay.
It shouldn't be problematic to do a presentation because they're just in Middletown.
Okay, so can we get that done, set up for next meeting? Okay, all right. And we can make a decision at that point in time.
Oh, my God.
All right, do I have a motion to table this item until?
I think we already did. I think
I'll move.
Supervisor
Okay.
Little already made that motion to.
All right, is there a second for that motion?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it, all right. Any announcements? Okay, hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, second? I second. We are adjourned. Thank you so much. Good meeting. Look, we got a lot accomplished. Mike, great presentation, sir. Well done.
What do we
What do you
do?
want, what do you want these scoring sheets, Mike?
Give them to Shelley.
So we just rank them 1 through 6?
Yeah.
Is it one?
Yeah, just shoot them over to Shelley.
So you do want them sequentially 1 through 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that is, that's not what it says here. Right, and
Okay.
that's not what I was, that's what I was asking